So your second step in forecasting is going to be completing your actual forecasting sheets. Your overall goal here is to pick the classes that you want to take next school year, and to make sure that you use that credit check sheet, the purple sheet that you just finished, to make sure you write in any other random classes that maybe you haven't completed yet, and still need to maybe make up if you hadn't passed them the first time around. So you'll use your forecasting sheet. If you're a 9th grader, you'll have the 10th grade sheet, because remember, this is for next year. If you're a 10th grader, you'll have this 11th grade sheet, and if you are an 11th grader, you'll have the 12th grade sheet. You should also have floating around your classroom some curriculum guides. You may need to share that if there's not enough copies for everybody. A couple of pages that you'll use a lot in the curriculum guide are the graduation requirements, so page 2, to review what you need to graduate on time and what you still have left to do. If you are planning to do the honor diploma, and I hope a decent amount of you are, all of the requirements are listed on here, so you can see all the classes that count as honors, and there are some new updated classes on here for this year, so make sure you can double check that. You can review how many credits of foreign language you need, how many credits of math and science, everything, so you're picking the right classes for next year so you can get those all done. If you're currently working on the honor diploma, maybe you're a junior and you're almost done, you could even mark on your transcript next to each class that's honors, like write honors, and then you can count up how many credits you have done already, and then count how many that you need to forecast for next year. You can also use the next page, the STEM and M pathways. This is also updated with some extra classes in each pathway, so you can check off, if you're in STEM and M, check off the classes you already have done, and if you need to do a few more classes in your pathway for next year, make a note of which classes that you still need to take. Classes for college credit, you might reference this if you're looking to take some college credits, or maybe you're in STEM and M and you're really looking for Oregon Tech credits. You can see that in the curriculum guide. You'll see the name of the Mazama class, the name of the college class, which college you get credit from, and how many college credits. And you'll notice that college credits work differently than high school. You'll get more than just one credit for each class. That continues on the second page. After that, you'll see each section. This is the art class section, has all of the classes listed, what grades can take the class, how many credits it's worth. You can look at other sections like the math section. There are certain classes that have prerequisites. So for example, if you want to take calculus, you have to be 12th grade, and you have to have math 111 and 112 or pre-calculus done first. So just check that off for every class that you're looking at. If there's a certain class that you have no idea what it is, but you think you want to take it, you're not sure, you need a little more information, look up that class. For example, maybe you think you want to take sports medicine, but you're not sure what it's about, so you could read this little paragraph and get a good idea. You can also talk to your friends that have taken the class, or even Miss Sturgeon, the teacher. You'll see that there is a prerequisite. You have to take Health 1 first before you can do sports medicine, so make sure you did that, and you have to have a C or better. You can check that off right on your transcript that you should have. It has all your grades, in case you don't remember what you got. So use that curriculum guide when you're picking out classes. All of the possible classes for each grade are listed on the back of each sheet, so if you're not sure which ones you can take, which ones you can't, review all those on the back. You'll see next to the classes they have S's and YRs and TR. The S means it's semester long, YR means a year long, TR means that you need the teacher to recommend you for that class, so keep that all in mind. So when you go to actually fill out your sheet, what you guys will have, I'll show a quick example. You'll have a sticker with your name on it, and you'll have some recommendations already written in for you. And then at the bottom, there's a spot to put all your information, so if you have a cell phone and an email, I would list those in case we need to contact you. We probably won't have to, but in case we do, it's nice to have that there. The first thing you could do before you even pick any classes is write down what your career or college goal is, and if you don't have one yet, it's a good time to start thinking or get some general idea of what you like. So maybe you're not sure what you want to do for a career, but you know that you like working with cars. You could write, I like working with cars, and then use that goal to help you pick some classes. So maybe that student that likes cars might take some Auto 1 classes. Maybe if you think you want to be an engineer, you would take engineering in your schedule, that kind of idea. If you want to do the honor diploma that I talked about real briefly, check that here so that I know and Mr. Rooney knows that you want to do the honor diploma, and we can check off your classes and make sure you have the right classes on your forecasting sheet and in your schedule. Overall, it's going to be really important that you fill out everything on here, every single alternative elective. We use these sheets to make the master schedule. So you write down what classes that you like. We get those all back in the counseling office. Ms. Ganam puts in your top 7 choices for classes, the ones that you really, really want in your schedule, into eSchool, and creates this master schedule. So a lot of you probably have seen this if you've come in to look at your schedule or change things. Just every class and when it's offered. So it's important that you take time to write down what you actually want. Say maybe we have 20 students that want to take physics and they want to be in anatomy, but they didn't write this on their sheet because they're like, oh, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Then we schedule physics and anatomy at the same time because we didn't know there was 20 students that wanted to do that. Now, had you just written on here what you wanted to take, then we can try to build the master schedule to suit everyone's needs. Obviously, it's not going to work out for everybody, but if you're pretty accurate and honest, about what you want to take, it makes this a little more, it just works better for everybody. So when you're filling this out, you saw my example, I just pulled out Maddie Baith here. We circled some things for you. If you applied for Advanced English or you're in Advanced English 3 and you're going into 4, we circled all that for you. Your required classes, this is a senior's forecasting sheet, so they'll have senior classes, but everything that you need is written in for you. So the senior will have Advanced English, Government Econ, Senior Seminar, and then your math and science teachers recommended classes for you. So on everybody's sheet you'll have something recommended. This person has calculus recommended. And then for science they had 3 different choices for science. So when you're filling this out, maybe you have a few choices for science. You could circle just 1. If you really like science and you want to take 2 or even 3, if you want to, you can circle as many as you want. Say this person is recommended for calculus and she's just, no, I don't want to take calculus. What I'd rather do is Math 98 or 105. She could write that in instead, but I would try to go with your teacher's recommendations because your math teachers are recommending you based on your math skills. So I would trust in them and have faith in yourself that you'd be capable of doing a high-level class. So each of you will have that. It will look a little bit different. Like I said, that was a 12th grade sheet. 10th grade sheet looks like this. All your required classes, space for your electives, space for alternatives. When you're filling this out, I see a lot of people, they choose to write nothing down here, then they think they're going to get all their top 7 choices. It's not how this works. It's not going to, just not going to happen, so you do need to write some alternatives down here. Now, what I would recommend is write them in the order of number 1, like what you would like the most, and number 6, maybe your last choice of your classes. So write in a few alternatives. I would recommend all 6, otherwise you might just end up with a random class in your schedule that you didn't pick because you chose not to write any alternatives. 11th grade is going to be the same idea. Fill that out and all your alternatives. 12th grade, like I was just saying, fill that out. You do have required classes, recommended classes, and then space for electives and alternatives. These highly recommended classes, so those of you planning to go to college, any type of college, I would definitely do a 4th year math. If you take a whole year off of math plus 2 summers, you're going to get to college, try to do college level math. It's going to be very difficult for you. If you just keep going with math in high school, it's much easier. Sometimes if you take time off for math, you'll have to do a placement test at the college and you might place lower and have to do a class like Math 98, which doesn't even count towards your college degree, but you do have to pay extra money for that. So I would just recommend taking math in high school, even though you might not want to. It really is what's best for you in the end, and you'll be happy that you did it in the end. Same thing with science, especially if you have any career that has anything to do with science at all. And there really are a lot of careers that do use science, so I would recommend challenging yourself with some science. Do know that the bare minimum is 3 years of each, but I think you're all capable of doing more than the bare minimum. If, say, maybe you're in 10th grade and you want to work on the honor diploma, something you can consider doing is writing this junior level health 2 class in for 10th grade. So if you're that higher level student, like a 3.5 student that does really well in your classes, You could take Health 2 in 10th grade, and then it leaves more space in 11th and 12th grade to do those honor level classes. So again, if you're a 9th grader, you want to do the honor diploma, think about writing in Health 2 if you want to do that. Now, it doesn't guarantee that we can fit it in your schedule, but we probably can. So write that down. So when you're all done, make sure that you have your sticker up here that has your name. If something's wrong or spelled wrong, correct that. Make sure your tutorial teacher is written in here because we organize these by tutorial. Make sure you filled out every single section. Use those recommendations that you have for math and science. Circle which one that you want. Fill out all of the alternative electives. And then fill out everything on the bottom. If you really, really think you need to talk to your counselor, check that I need to talk to my counselor. Otherwise, mark that you're done. I hope that most of you mark that you're done because I think you're capable of completing this without a lot of extra help. If you have questions about like honor diploma or STEM and M, try to check those off here for yourself to see if you can figure that out on your own, and you can always come to your counselor and we can double check everything with you. If you're one of those students that had a class that they did not pass, remember to write that down in here. So like this 9th grade student that we talked about before that didn't have English 1 done, they also actually don't have Algebra 1 done. You want to make sure that you're writing that in as a class that you need to retake. If you don't write that in there, it doesn't mean that you don't ever have to take it. Your counselor is going to find out, and then we're going to put it in your schedule for you. And say maybe you wrote in all your 6 electives that you really wanted to take, and now we have to just pick one of those out so we can fit into English. We might accidentally take out the class that you liked the most because you chose to just not write that in there when you knew that you should have written it in there. If you have failed classes, you can also talk to your counselor about making classes up in summer school. There's 2 different sessions that are offered throughout the summer. It's 3 hours a day. It's not that bad. You can sign up with Mr. Rooney if you're 9th or 10th grade, or you can sign up with me if you're in 11th grade. There's also night school offered. It's 3:30 to 5, Monday through Thursday. It's not exactly my idea of a fun time, but you could do night school if you need to. My recommendation would be to work hard in all your classes now so that you don't fail anything and have to do summer school or night school. So if you're in that situation, make sure you talk to your counselor. If you are in 9th grade, your counselor next year will be Mr. Rooney still. If you're in 10th or 11th grade, your counselor next year will be me, Miss Radmaker, since I work with 11th and 12th graders. If you have any questions while you're forecasting, try to use your curriculum guide and ask your teachers. And if you get really confused, know that you can always come down to the counseling office, talk to me, Miss Radmaker, Mr. Rooney, Mr. Ojeda can also help you, and then Miss Canan. But finish up those sheets, make sure everything's all done, and return it to your tutorial teacher before you leave.